All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig in a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video. Niners looking at a new quarterback. First, a mention of Pig in a Pickle. Two locations, Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're the best barbecue in Northern California. Check them out. They're open 7 days a week in both spots from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. Get the brisket chili. Tell them that Larry Krueger sent you. All right, let's talk a little 49ers. 49ers on Tuesday worked out a quarterback. Could they be looking at another quarterback? This is a guy that I predicted over a month ago when he was waived by the Eagles would be signed by the 49ers. It's Ian Book, the former Notre Dame star who was, cut by the Eagles out of camp, and he's out there on the street, and the Niners worked him out. Now, are they going to sign him right away? Are they just doing their due diligence? Are they going to try to sign him and put him on the practice squad? I think it makes sense from a lot of reasons. Let's go through it. Let's talk a little bit about Book. Smallish quarterback, great intangibles, great leader, 6 feet, 206 pounds. Went to Notre Dame 2016 through 2020, and was awesome at Notre Dame. I mean, he was headed to Boise State. Then he was going to go play for the late Mike Leach at Wazoo. Opted to follow a coach who jumped from Boise State to Notre Dame, so he winds up at Notre Dame. And all he did at Notre Dame was, he took him a while to get on the field, but once he got on the field, he was fantastic. He came off the bench to lead Notre Dame to a Citrus Bowl win over LSU as a redshirt freshman. Book would wind up going 30-5 at Notre Dame. That's the most wins by a Notre Dame quarterback in the history of that program. That program is over 130 years old. So Book had a lot of success. His final year at Notre Dame, he finished 9th in the Heisman Trophy voting. He was a 4th-round pick by Sean Payton, Mickey Loomis, and the New Orleans Saints in the 2021 draft. And his first NFL start, I can remember it well. It was a Monday Night Football game. Maybe it was a Thursday night game, but it was a national TV game. And they lost to the Dolphins 20-3. And he just got overwhelmed by the Dolphins. He threw a couple picks in that game. He was eventually waived by the Saints in August of 2022 and claimed by the Eagles, who then waived him last month at the cutdown. So, I mean, the Niners have interest. I can see why they do. I mean, they have Brock Purdy, they have Sam Darnold, they have Brandon Allen. They don't ever want to be caught short again at quarterback. He's a NorCal kid. He's from El Dorado Hills. He went to Oak Ridge High School up there in El Dorado Hills, north of Sacramento. He's a great guy. He really is. He's a 2-time captain at Notre Dame. He was very popular with his teammates. I've talked to him on the phone before. He's a great kid. Really is a really good kid. And this is one of those things where you get a backup quarterback that you kind of like, and you develop him on the practice squad. His NFL stats are no touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 60% completion percentage, but he's barely played. He's 0-1 as a career starter in the NFL. What he does have, though, is he's got some great intangibles. He's got big hands. Even though he's 6 feet, 206 pounds, he almost has 10-inch hands, 9 7/8-inch hands. He's a guy who's got good athleticism. He was a 3-year starter at Notre Dame. He's a better athlete, just definitely a plus athlete, better athlete than most quarterbacks. Very capable runner, has great escapability. This guy can get away. He's got quick feet. He's slippery. He's a slippery, quick-footed plus athlete with top-level escapability, very capable as a runner. Arm strength is right there at just barely good enough or maybe even slightly below. Doesn't have great arm strength, doesn't drive the deep out. But who knows? Maybe, Brock Purdy could introduce him to some of the guys he works with in Jacksonville that found some more miles per hour in Brock's ball. Maybe they could find a little bit more in Ian Book's ball. The one thing about Book is that, a lot of the big components of the Niner offense is they want somebody who can run all the short stuff, the RPO game, the quick game, the play action game, the bootleg game. He can do all of it. He can do absolutely all of that. In a lot of ways, he's very similar to Brock Purdy. And maybe, and who knows what the Niners are thinking here. Maybe they're not enamored with Sam Darnold, and a team like the Jets, who just lost Aaron Rodgers, are going to come knocking for Sam Darnold. You never know. Maybe they feel like, that Ian Book is very similar to Brandon Allen, and they want to replace Brandon Allen with Ian Book. Or maybe they just want to have an extra quarterback who they think they can win games with sitting on their practice squad, ready to step in at a moment's notice, who's similar to their starter. And in that case, there's no doubt Ian Book has a lot of similarities to Brock Purdy. Purdy's a little sturdier. I think Purdy has a little bit better arm. But they're both guys who are, roughly 6 feet. Purdy's a little bit bigger bodied guy. I mean, Ian Book's probably 205 to 210. Purdy's more like 220 to 230, in that range. Purdy's got a little bit thicker build in the lower legs. And so he's just has a little bit more durability. But if you're the 49ers and you're looking for somebody who you feel like can run your system, throw, all the short passes, all the quick game, all the hitches, the slants, the all the stuff within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage, the play action game, the bootleg game, this guy can do it. He's smart, he's a leader, he's local, he's cheap. You can put him on your practice squad. He could be an insurance policy. To me, this is a dramatic upgrade from having, Josh Johnson on your practice squad a year ago. Why? Just because I think Book's a little bit more of a capable NFL quarterback at this point, and not just a practice squad guy. I think he could be, your third quarterback instead of Brandon Allen. I mean, he's very comparable, in my opinion, to what you're getting right now with Brandon Allen. Brandon Allen's a little bit bigger, maybe a little bit better arm, but Book's definitely a better mover, better escapability, quicker feet, better runner, better athlete. Yeah, so I mean, they're very, very similar. What I love though about Ian Book, he's a winner, man. He knows how to play the game. He shows up to win. He's got all kinds of intangibles. 30-5 at Notre Dame. Notre Dame plays a good representative schedule. It's not like they're playing Little Sisters of the Poor every week. They've got it. They play a tough schedule, and he went 30-5 there. He had more wins there than Joe Montana or any quarterback who's ever played there. Now, he did play an extra year, and that probably has a lot to do with that. But you're still talking about a guy who was top 10 in the Heisman voting his last year in college football. And he's as I said, he's a leader. He's well liked by his teammates. He's got mobility. He's got intellect. He's a winner. He doesn't have a strong arm. He doesn't have a big time arm. He's not going to drive the deep out and put it in a tight window. His arm is more middling. I would say Purdy definitely has a little bit better arm, and Purdy doesn't even have a big arm. But man, if you lost Brock Purdy and you're looking at Sam Darnold, Brandon Allen, and you're looking at who's our third guy, this guy would be a great third guy. If you lost Brock Purdy, he'd be a great practice squad insurance policy just to have. He might be a cheaper version of the third string quarterback than Brandon Allen. If you, for whatever reason, got a trade offer because of the quarterbacks going down around the league and Sam Darnold, and you wanted to take it, you could save some money on the cap, promote Brandon Allen to number 2, and make Ian Book number 3, and you probably don't lose that much in the process. So I like this kid. I love his traits. I love his intellect. I love his toughness. I love how resourceful he is. He's been around the block. Maybe they could do something with his mechanics and get a little bit more arm strength out of him. The number one reason I like him, though, is he spent the entire summer in the Eagles camp. And if you're going to do, the NFC, in my opinion, is the Niners and the Eagles and the Niners. And if you want to get an upper hand on the Eagles and you want to steal some intel from the Eagles, there is no better way than to take Ian Book and put him on your practice squad and try to glean whatever he's been able to take away from the Eagles offensively as an advantage. To me, it would be it's always an advantage to take a player away from a team you're trying to beat, but it's a real advantage if you can take away a player who's in one of the communication positions. You're either the middle backer, the Mike linebacker who wears the green dot, knows all the defensive calls, or you're the quarterback and you know the plays and you know the thinking of Sirianni and their offensive coaching staff, and you know what they emphasize this summer and what they're trying to get accomplished and how they're thinking, and all those things can give you great insight. The Niners and Eagles play first week in December, and I would definitely love to pick Ian Book's brain as far as what he knows about the Eagles, if nothing else, just to win that game. You win that game, you probably host the NFC Championship game. You host the NFC Championship game, and maybe you go to the Super Bowl. You go to the Super Bowl, you got a chance to win the Super Bowl. You win the Super Bowl, and John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, and Jed York are made men. So if you really think about it, what looks to be a very, innocent, benign mid-September practice squad workout in Ian Book could actually wind up being much, much more if he could share some Eagles intel with you and serve as your emergency quarterback off the practice squad. So I'm saying 2 thumbs up. I love it. I would sign Ian Book. I realize they're not necessarily going to do it right now. They may be doing their due diligence. He may be an insurance policy in case they lose a quarterback. But just for the Philly intel stealing capability, I think signing Ian Book would be smart. Then you mix in the fact that he's a winner, he's an athlete, he's a NorCal guy, probably grew up a Niner fan. He's a great kid, and I think it's a slam dunk. To me, Ian Book, in a lot of ways, is the perfect quarterback to round out their quarterback stable, especially on the practice squad as an insurance policy in case of an injury. Then you get a guy who knows your system and has been looking at your system and your receivers and everything you do for several weeks. I think that would be a great move by the Niners. All right, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of The Krug Show. Thanks to all you guys for supporting The Krug Show on YouTube.